Hello everyone, I'm so happy to meet you all again. Today, I will continue to share with you the journey of Tieu Ca, and this time, it's going to be even more special as we explore whether she will receive any help with selling her land. Will she find support from someone? How will this decision impact her life? Let's follow along to find out the answers. Tieu Ca had gone through a long day filled with anxiety. She knew that selling the house was a big decision, one that would not only impact her own life, but also the future of her young child. When the real estate agent came and offered $50 million for both the house and the garden, she felt an indescribable sensation. $50 million was a large sum, but would it be enough to build a new home, stabilize her life for her daughter, and for the child she was expecting? She was deeply worried. She continued to work, but her mind couldn't escape those thoughts. She was truly exhausted, yet her heart remained heavy with unanswered questions. Will that money be enough? She wondered, thinking about what she would have to do to rebuild her life after selling this house. Today, the real estate agent came again. She stood at the door, her heart filled with anxiety. But when the agent announced that the price for her land had been doubled from the previous day, she could hardly believe her ears. She immediately felt a refreshing, gentle rain of relief in her heart. "Double?" Tieu Ca exclaimed. But the story didn't end there. The agent continued, explaining that the land she had visited the other day had now been leveled, and in addition, there would be support for bringing in electricity and drilling a well. These words felt like magic, washing away all the worries in her heart. She knew that this was the opportunity she had been waiting for. Tieu Ca couldn't express the emotion she was feeling at that moment. It felt as though a huge burden had just been lifted off her shoulders. The next day, Tieu Ca took her child to school with a completely different mood. Her heart was filled with joy, and her face no longer showed signs of worry or exhaustion. She felt that her life was about to turn a new, brighter page, free from the uncertainty and worries. She looked at Tieu Han and then down at her belly, thinking about the future of her children, and told herself that this was the time to start over. After dropping her child off at school, Tieu Ca immediately picked up the phone and called Hmong. She wanted to share this good news with him, to let him feel the joy and relief she was experiencing. She called, and after a few rings, Hmong picked up. "Hi, I have some news I want to share with you," Tieu Ca said, her voice unable to hide her excitement. "My land, it has been paid double the price from yesterday. What's more, they've leveled the ground, brought in electricity, and will drill a well at the new site I visited. I can't believe it." On the other end of the line, Hmong was silent for a moment before laughing loudly, sensing the joy in Tieu Ca's voice. "I knew it. You made the right choice. Everything will be fine. You and the kids will have a wonderful life. I always believed in you." Tieu Ca felt a strange warmth in her heart as she heard those comforting words. Despite the difficulties and the challenges she had faced, she had finally received comfort and support from her loved ones. All the good things had come, and she felt that this was truly the time to start a new life, full of hope and faith. Tieu Ca had no idea that everything that was happening was due to Hmong's quiet help. He hadn't just been standing on the sidelines observing, but had silently taken action to help her and her daughter overcome their hardships. That day, Hmong met with the owner of the construction and real estate company. During this meeting, he didn't hide his determination. "I am willing to offer an additional half of the amount you're proposing to buy Tieu Ca's land, as long as the house and land are purchased at the most reasonable price, benefiting her the most," Hmong said with certainty. He knew that with this money, not only would it help Tieu Ca get rid of her financial burden, but it would also give her a new opportunity to start over. The real estate agent was quite surprised by Hmong's determination, but couldn't deny that this was a good offer. Both parties agreed to the plan, and everything progressed according to Hmong's arrangement. Hmong felt more at ease than ever as things slowly fell into place. When this plan was completed, Hmong couldn't hide the joy in his heart. He felt a great sense of satisfaction knowing he had been able to help Tieu Ca and her daughter. He understood that nothing was more important than seeing them have a better life, a stable and happy home. However, deep down, Hmong knew that another major challenge awaited him. Would Tieu Ca agree to accept his help openly? He didn't want his assistance to become a burden or something that would make her feel uncomfortable. Everything would be different if she agreed to accept his support, and that would not only help her overcome her current difficulties, but also create an opportunity for the two of them to grow closer. Hmong had thought about this a lot. He wondered whether she was strong enough to accept such a big change in her life. Or would there be some hesitation due to her pride, or the independence she had worked so hard to maintain all this time? He wanted to help, but didn't want to force anything. That's why he had not yet made it clear to her about the plan to build the new house. He only hoped that when the time came, Tieu Ca would understand his sincere intentions, see things in a positive light, and be ready to accept his help. Because he knew that in the future, if they could walk together, they would have a true home, filled with love and happiness. At that point, everything would no longer be about hardships, but about steady steps forward toward a brighter future. And Hmong would always be there for Tieu Ca, helping her build a new life full of hope, with no more worries, only joy and peace. After everything went according to plan, he and his team returned to the plot of land where he had once quietly instructed the workers to level the ground. It was a place he had chosen long ago, set aside especially for Tieu Ca, as a fresh beginning for her and her daughter. Now the land had been carefully prepared. The ground was smooth and firm, the soil compacted, the boundaries clearly defined, and the surroundings neatly cleared, ready for the construction of a warm and welcoming home. He stood in silence, gazing at the land for a long while. What he felt wasn't just the satisfaction of completing a plan, but the fulfillment of a silent promise he had made to himself. He knew well that no matter how strong Tieu Ca appeared to be, she still needed a place of support, a real home, not just to shield her from sun and rain, but to shelter her soul and nurture the dreams of her daughter. And so, he had prepared everything, not to be acknowledged, but simply because he wanted to do the right thing for the woman he cherished. Tieu Ca went to work, but her heart was filled with joy and hope. She thought about her daughter's future, about the day her child would go to school, learn, and grow in a better environment. She imagined a lighter life, no longer worrying about where they would live, and her daughter would be able to go to school without facing the hardships they had endured before. Tieu Ca would have more time to focus on important things, take care of herself, and prepare for the child she was about to give birth to. Her life seemed to be slowly shifting step by step, becoming brighter. Today, when Hng's staff came to discuss with her about selling the house and finding a new plot of land to build a house, she was completely surprised to realize that Hng had always quietly cared for and supported her throughout this time. The staff member revealed that Hng had been closely monitoring every step of the process, constantly worrying and helping to ensure that Tieu Ca and her daughter would have a new home and a new life. She couldn't help but feel moved when she learned that behind all these changes, there was someone who had been keeping an eye on things, helping and putting in the effort to make her and her daughter's life better. So, will Tieu Ca continue to accept Hng's help after learning the truth about the additional money from her land? Or will she refuse and face all the challenges on her own? These crucial decisions will impact the future of her and her daughter. Let's look forward to the next episode to discover how Tieu Ca's life will change and whether she will accept Hng's support to begin a new journey full of hope.
Khi nhận được tin mảnh đất của mình đã được bán với giá tốt hơn kỳ vọng, Tieu Ca không tin vào tai mình. Cô vô cùng vui mừng đến nỗi bật khóc. Khóc không phải vì buồn mà là vì sự nhẹ nhõm đến nghẹn ngào. Suốt thời gian qua, cô đã ôm lấy nỗi lo về tương lai của hai mẹ con cô và đứa con sắp sửa chào đời. Về việc không biết phải bắt đầu từ đâu khi con đã đến tuổi đi học mà đường xá lại xa xôi. Mảnh đất ấy với cô từng là chỗ bấu víu cuối cùng, và giờ đây nó không chỉ giúp cô có một khoản tiền để làm lại cuộc sống mà còn giải tỏa bao nặng nề đè nén cô trong suốt những tháng ngày qua. Nhưng điều khiến cô xúc động hơn cả là khi cô dần hiểu ra đằng sau sự thuận lợi bất ngờ ấy không phải do may mắn, là có một người lặng lẽ đứng sau, dõi theo và giúp đỡ cô trong âm thầm. Đó chính là Hùng. Anh không xuất hiện rình rang, cũng không để lại dấu vết rõ ràng. Những bước đi của cô đều có sự hậu thuẫn kín đáo từ anh. Từ việc mảnh đất được định giá cao hơn thị trường cho đến những cuộc gặp gỡ thương lượng diễn ra êm đẹp và thuận lợi đến kỳ lạ với người chủ môi giới đất. Cô chưa từng đòi hỏi, cũng chưa từng mong cầu điều gì ở anh, nhưng chính sự thầm lặng ấy đã chạm đến tấm lòng